Welcome to the exciting and new podcast. I'm Jason.
I'm Andy.
I'm Dana.
And I'm Mike.
Welcome, Mike.
Thanks.
Andy, what are we talking about today?
You know, I want to say Buckaroo Banzai. We're
That's what I
doing
would say.
Repo Man.
Repo Man, rated R.
I think I told you earlier in the day, or yesterday, I got Repo Man and Remo Williams mixed up in my head, and I was like, I thought Fred Ward was in this movie, and I looked up, I'm like, oh, that's Remo Williams. I'm like, oh, I don't know what the fuck's going on.
That would have been a much better movie to
I have no
watch.
idea. It's been a million years since I've seen either one of those movies. So.
It's rated R, running time an hour and 32 minutes, released on March 2nd, 1984. Directed by Alex Cox. You may know Alex Cox from Sid and Nancy.
He directed that
He directed
also.
that as well. Yeah, The Oxford Murders and Searchers 2.0. I didn't know him from anything else, really.
And he's got something else. It's just, I just saw something new that's coming
Something
out.
new coming out.
Did he do Repo Man the
Did he
remake
do
or something
Toxic
like that?
Avenger?
So he directed...
That's coming out with Peter Dinklage, right?
Oh, the
And
remake.
Kevin Bacon's playing the bad guy.
Oh my God.
Is he really?
Yeah.
We're going to the theater to see that.
I
hell
can't wait
yeah.
to see that, man.
Did he direct Sid and Nancy?
Yes.
Yes.
He directed that too also?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
So he's got a track record.
I love that movie too, or my memory of that movie.
Really?
I love that movie.
This movie, the IMDb description, a young punk recruited by a car repo agency finds himself in pursuit of a Chevrolet Malibu with a huge $20,000 bounty and something otherworldly stashed in its trunk.
Okay.
Got a few taglines for you. They're always fun, right?
Taglines are fun.
A repo man is always intense, but only a fool gets killed for a car. That's too long, I thought.
Wasn't that one of his sayings or
Mottos?
something like
Yeah.
that? Mottos, yeah.
I do my best thinking on the bus. Not just a job, it's
That
an
was one of the
adventure.
taglines.
Yeah.
Look, if that's the tagline of your movie, just keep going.
And then you got, it's 4 a.m. Do you know where your car is?
I like that.
And then here's a really long one. Meet Otto. He's a clean-cut kid in a dirty business. He's a repo man. He steals cars legally. Now he's out to repossess a 64 Chevy Malibu with an amazing reward of $20,000. But Otto is not alone. There are others who want the car and will do anything to get it. The risks are great because hidden in the trunk is something so incredible it could destroy them all. We'll give you a hint. It glows in the dark.
Jesus Christ, was that like...
That's longer than the IMDb description.
That's the poster. It just fills up the whole thing. My
That's a
one's
Star Wars crawl.
Yeah.
I like it's 4 a.m. Do you know where your car is? Because that tied into the whole do you know where your children are
Yeah.
thing. Because my dad would always say that whenever it's 9 p.m. Do you know where your child is? He's like,
That was it was
right
always
there.
I remember
You know?
at 10 p.m. right before the news was coming
Yeah.
on. I was about to watch the news and they would say that. I was like, I'm right here.
I'm sitting right here. Why are you asking?
Let's get into this cast. We'll kick it off. Playing Bud was Harry Dean Stanton. Last Man Stanton, Dana, does that ring a bell to anything you remember?
It's probably the first thing I ever saw him in. I don't think I've ever seen him in a movie before.
You've definitely seen
Wait.
it in other movies.
You've never seen Alien?
Nah, maybe bits and
you saw,
pieces.
right? Yeah? No?
How
Yeah.
about Christine?
Yeah, we just did,
Probably
just did
see
that
that.
movie.
I
So, yeah,
wasn't
she
on
saw
to
it.
that one.
And less because
You saw The Green Mile.
I did see The Green Mile.
He's in that.
and
Okay.
he is also in the Avengers, the first Avengers movie.
Really?
Yeah, he's
is,
the one
right?
that tells the Hulk that he's got a condition.
Yeah.
He's like, He's like, are you an alien? He's like, no. He's like, then son, you got a condition. When the Hulk
Oh, he was falls in the building. That was him? I did not recognize him. Wow. Okay.
It was weird that they put him in there because it was such a
Yeah, he was just
blink
standing
and
on like a
miss it kind of
staircase
thing.
after everything else was like crumbled. Yeah.
Yeah, because he was such a glowing specimen of manhood in the 80s.
Yeah.
I could see how you could...
He was so much
40
older.
years
Like I remember
later.
when he died a couple of years ago. He was like 96. I'm like, he must have been like 55, 60
Yeah, his
in
last
this
movie was in 2020.
He was
did
so old. early
208.
on.
He has 208 acting credits. He was in Twin Peaks.
Yep.
5 episodes of Twin
That
Peaks.
must have been the newer one.
2017.
Yeah, he wasn't in the original. Yeah.
When did he die? Well, obviously after 2017.
He died in 2017.
Okay, so right after that came out.
He was 91. Natural causes is what the...
Yeah, and anything
yeah,
at 91's now. You can get shot with a bullet. It's natural causes at 91. You just... It hit you like Jello. Just
Yeah.
He played security guard in the Avengers.
Yes, he did.
That was his role. He was in Rango as a voice, obviously.
as a Johnny Depp cartoon, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Animated
he's
movie,
got
sorry, not
so many
cartoon.
things. He did an episode of 2.5 Men.
Oh, yeah, he was in everything for like ever.
He was in
like 50 years.
Anger Management, Green Mile, we mentioned that already. Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, he was the judge.
Damn, I don't remember him being in that. That's a great movie, though,
I
too.
walked out of that movie.
Oh, my God, I love that movie, man.
I like that
No, I
movie
just,
too.
it was one of those things that was like,
He was in Twin Peaks Fire Walk With Me.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
the movie.
That was the movie
Oh
after
my
the
god!
show, right?
Yeah.
yep.
Wild at Heart.
I think I
just
can
realized-
picture him that.
Wild at
yeah.
Heart's a Christian Slater movie?
No, it was Nicolas Cage.
No,
You're thinking of
that's Untamed Heart.
you're thinking of Untamed.
Sorry.
And I love
get
that
I
movie.
get those two mixed up all the time. Yep.
Dream a Little Dream. That's a Corey
Yep.
Feldman movie.
Yeah, he played the
I don't think I know
dad.
that
Yep.
one.
That's the one with him, Corey Feldman, Corey Haim,
He
and
was in Pretty in Pink.
License
Nicole
to Drive?
Eggert.
Isn't that License to Drive?
He played Jack in
Isn't that what
Pretty
he
in
just
Pink.
He said Dream a Little Dream or
Dream.
something like that.
Oh, it's the same.
They're
Is it
both
the
in
same?
that movie.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
It's still
It's
Corey
the same.
Feldman.
Young
movie.
Doctors in Love. He was in an episode of Laverne and Shirley. Escape
yeah.
from New York.
Oh, fuck
Of
yeah. he's in
course,
Escape from
duh.
New York.
Jeez.
Private
never saw that.
Benjamin.
We got to do Escape from New York on this podcast because I feel that has a lot of holes that we would fill.
Isn't that around the time that you're?
It was like a couple of years ago. We missed it by a year or two.
Oh,
We started
was it
this
like
stupid-
82?
Something like that. We missed it.
He was in The Godfather Part 2.
Never saw
He
it.
is? What's his role?
He's an
in that?
FBI man number 1.
What?
Damn.
How does he get a role
blink
of
and you'll
FBI
miss
number
I
one?
have seen The Godfather Part 2 100 times.
He's in that
Probably
movie
a guy
Kelly's
standing in the
Heroes.
background.
Remember that movie I told
Yes.
you I wanna-
Yep. Telly Savalas and a bunch of other people. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's in
Donald
an episode of The
Sutherland.
Andy Griffith Show.
Wow, he goes back to the black and white era. Yeah.
Well, that's all.
I mean, that's why-
he did The Fugitive, 2 episodes of The Fugitive.
Dude, he went back to. He was old
2
enough to
episodes of
remember
Bonanza.
no movies.
He goes back.
The Untouchables.
The Untouchables, the TV show, not the
Yeah.
not the
Yes.
Sean Connery
Yes.
movie.
No. Oh man, I'm back to 1959, 1958,
That's so old. That's like
1954. He was in Inner Sanctum, a TV series, 1 episode. Wow. Tomahawk Trail in 1957. He played Private Miller. He was billed as Dean Stanton.
because at that time you could be pretentious with 3 names. Then all of a sudden it became cool to have 3 names.
Yeah.
But his top 4 was Lucky, Alien, Repo Man, and The Green Mile.
Lucky, I don't know. Lucky. Did we talk about Lucky? That
It's
was
a newer movie.
Oh, okay.
Was it a
in
movie
it.
or was that the TV show?
Oh no, that was Lucky,
Lucky.
Logan or something.
Lucky was a
Logan.
TV show, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It wasn't Lucky Louie or Lucky Logan.
No.
Lucky Louie was
Lucky Louie was awesome.
That was only 1 season, though. There should have been more. Playing Otto was Emilio Estevez. This is definitely our first Emilio Estevez movie.
No, it's not.
It's not.
We did
Nope.
The
That's what it said.
Outsiders.
We did The Outsiders.
That's what he
correct.
said.
It's definitely
You
our
weren't
second
listening.
Emilio Estevez movie.
I was
I
saying
feel-
this is our first Emilio Estevez movie since
With
The
me on
Outsiders.
the
is what I was
podcast,
saying.
yes. He by far is, to me, he is the superior brother. He's so much better than Charlie.
As an actor, he
Yeah.
is for sure.
Yeah, love him.
Wait a minute.
I like Charlie, though.
I mean,
I,
Charlie Sheen
I
in
do
Major
not
League.
like
I love
Charlie
Charlie Sheen.
Sheen even a little bit. I cannot
because he
stand him.
raped Corey Haim.
No, because I didn't even know it when I decided I hated him. I didn't even know.
you-
I never liked 2.5 Men. I couldn't stand
That
it. I
story
couldn't
never
stand
was
his
true,
face.
dude. It's got to
Like,
be true.
I
But
believe
he
it.
was good in some of his earlier stuff. He was good in Lucas.
And
Lucas was
Platoon.
great. That's the
and,
movie he supposedly raped Corey Haim on, the set of that movie.
Oh, that's why he was in such a good mood all the time. I don't know.
Yeah, he's a creeper.
Speaking of that,
for
Dan
sure.
Snyder's now suing
Yeah.
HBO because of the.
I saw that defamation of character or
yeah.
whatever.
Oh, well. So we already done Emilio Estevez. So that was The Mighty Ducks, Judgment Night, great movie.
Great movie.
The Public and Young Guns 2.
I love the Young Guns
But not
movies.
Young Guns 1, huh?
No.
Which was a far better
Wait,
movie.
he wasn't in Young Guns 1?
He was. This algorithm is
Oh.
insane.
Yeah.
Judgment Night The movie was fine. The soundtrack was amazing. That's
Soundtrack
one of
was
the best
great.
soundtracks of all time.
Playing
That had Jimmy
Miller.
Piven in it. I'm not a big fan of him, and that kind of brought that movie down.
Jeremy Piven?
Yeah,
I don't
like
mind him.
There's something about him I don't like.
He's
Really?
he's a smug asshole, but he
Yeah, I
plays
know
that
he's
well.
an asshole.
Yeah.
But
Real
did
life,
you ever
yeah.
see, what was it?
PCU.
No, the one where he's the used car salesman?
I don't know that one. I don't think I know that
The
one.
Goods.
I don't think I've
definitely
seen
never saw
that.
It's him, Ving Rhames.
Nope, I definitely didn't see that.
They come into these like crappy car dealerships and just take over and sell the shit out of every car on the lot. And he's like super salesman guy. That was a funny,
Yeah,
funny
The
movie.
Goods.
The Goods, yeah.
Yeah, I never heard
Check
of
that
that
out.
one. Playing
Punch
Miller was Tracy Walter.
Which one was Miller? I
He was
lost
the
it
guy.
after the first
He
two.
was the guy at the end of the movie that actually got in the car and flew it away.
That's the
Oh.
one from Batman.
Yeah, he's Bob from the
Yeah.
original Batman movie.
He was Frog from Best in the West.
yeah.
He's in Conan the Destroyer.
Is he? Okay.
He's the little weird. He was the weird guy, right?
Very weird.
So
yes.
I know him from. I didn't look up
Wait a
his
minute.
IMDb, but I know him so
He's the
well
guy
from
driving
something.
the car at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the guy that
I
just
just know him
burned
from
everything.
something, but I didn't look it up to figure out what it was. But he was in something that I've seen a million times now. I have to
Definitely
look.
Batman for sure.
Is it City Slickers?
No.
I thought that might
I don't
have
remember
been
him from that.
Oh.
I remember, as soon as I saw him, I'm like, oh, it's Bob from Batman. Let's go.
Well, all right, I'm going easy. Lila was played by Olivia Barish.
I've never seen her before or since, I think.
Well,
You're talking about the one female in this movie? Yes.
Well, wait a minute. Was she the one with the metal hand or the one?
Oh, no. Oh, you're right.
she
you're
was
right.
the one
Getting picked
that
up.
he was kissing and
The one that
whatnot.
they made out in the car.
Yeah.
And he's like,
She said, "You want to get back in the car?"
it's like, how long you have this car for?
Well, I like how he just shows up at her job and drops his pants.
Well, she was in Fame.
I've never
She
seen
did
Fame.
13 episodes of Fame.
Oh, the TV
Oh,
show.
the TV
Definitely-
show.
Definitely never seen the TV show.
Didn't see the movie.
Fame.
I'm not watching the
It
TV
said she was
show.
on the Doors soundtrack, so I don't know what that is. If she did a song or something for the
The
soundtrack.
movie, The
yeah.
Doors? Okay.
And then Tough Turf, which is in '85. We'll do that
Oh,
next. We'll do that next year.
that's with James Spader.
Right, Tough Turf.
Never seen that either.
We do that
so-
one next year if you want to come on for that one.
Ooh.
Oh, we get Mike for Tough Turf.
I found out where I know him from.
Okay.
And you're going to laugh at me, but it's from Aaron Brockovich. He's the guy who's
I'm not gonna laugh.
cousin
I don't
fell in
really
a
think it's
tank.
that
I thought you were
funny.
gonna say
I've
It's
seen
not fun.
Aaron
You're gonna
Brockovich.
laugh at me because I've seen
I'm
that
gonna
movie
laugh out 'cause you said I was gonna
100
laugh.
times. I've seen that movie so many times.
thought you were gonna
It's
say-
one of those movies that's on TBS all
Did
the
you
time.
always say, I'm gonna be her? That's me up there.
That is. I was
I
gonna.
thought you
That
was
was
going
gonna
to
be
say
me.
he's Julia Roberts with like left boob or something like that, but
my
I've never
God.
seen Aaron Brockovich
Yeah,
ever. Never
it's.
once.
I've seen it a lot.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I don't like that lady.
I love
Aaron
her.
Brockovich or
I love Julia Roberts. I love her. I
I
love
can't stand
her.
her.
I know most people hate her.
Playing Light was Cy Richardson.
That fucking guy, man.
He was good.
insane.
Which
With
one
the-
was white?
He was shooting the
Black
blank.
dude
blank.
shooting
Oh.
blanks into the house.
He was funny. I liked him.
He said
That was
blanks.
the highlight of the movie.
He was great.
He was in Colors. Remember that movie, Colors?
Love Colors.
Hmm,
I am a nightmare
And
talking
did you watch
psychopath.
Pushing
Awesome.
Daisies?
Colors.
Did you watch that
I
show?
loved Pushing Daisies. Lee Pace starred in that.
He
Never
was in
saw that.
12 of 22 of the episodes.
Really?
Yeah.
I do not
Pushing
remember
Daisies.
him. That was a good show. Got canceled. It shouldn't have been.
Lee Pace, huh?
Lee Pace starred
Love
in
him.
it. Yeah.
Love him.
What else has he been in besides?
You know what I just found out?
Foundation.
I had no
Hell,
idea.
See that.
Foundation.
I just
Straight
found out
to
like
hell.
a month ago he's gay.
Who?
Lee Pace. I had
Oh,
no
wow.
idea. No idea.
He's too
He was
hot to be with
outed
a
by
woman.
Christopher Lee.
Christopher Lee.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
The
dead for a long
101-year-old
time.
Christopher Lee?
Who's the other guy that's not Christopher Lee but was in the same movie with him?
Peter
and this-
Cushing.
Ian McKellen. Ian McKellen's also gay.
Ian McKellen.
What?
was gay.
Then it was Ian McKellen.
Okay.
Guys, I always mix those two up because they were both
Peter-
long-haired
One's-
wizards.
One,
Peter
yeah, they're
Cushing
both
died in
in-
the 90s.
Yeah.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, they're both
Yeah.
Early
yeah.
90s, right?
They're both Lord of the Rings guys.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, I was just read a story about how he was outed by him. But yeah,
Oh, he outed him by mistake?
by mistake, yes, completely by accident.
I was hanging out with Lee at the gay bar. Like, what'd you say there, sir?
Yeah.
I was sitting there. It was this person, this person, this person.
I asked him how his day was, and he went, oh. Well, maybe I shouldn't have shared that story.
Lee Pace in Foundation is one of the best
Oh my
characters
God,
of the
so
21st
great.
century.
More people need to
he
watch
is
this show.
so awesome in
Yeah.
that. It's a great show, and he's great in it.
Yeah, I agree.
After you watch a movie, I tell you to
Yeah,
watch.
I'll
Maybe
watch an hour and a half
tell me
movie,
to
and you can
watch.
watch 4 seasons of the show.
Playing Ollie was Tom Finnegan.
Who is Ollie? You're gonna have to tell me because all the people, I never knew their names.
I don't know Ollie
I
either.
think was Ollie the guy that was working at the desk.
Oh no! Was that the guy that was the bald guy that got shot? They were one of the three that were
the one that
always-
opened the trunk and
Yeah.
to
Oh,
solve.
his friend. His
I thought he had a different name.
friends.
I don't know. I
didn't
could
recall my
be.
notes
I
up.
could be completely wrong.
He wouldn't be billed up that high. I feel like he would have been lower rate.
No, his name's Archie.
Archie.
And the only reason I know his name's Archie is because I can see Archie's bald cap under his mohawk. That's
Yeah.
what I have. in my
It was the
notes.
three of them were like Archie.
Duke was
Duke
the big
and
name
a
bad
girl.
guy. Yeah, and
Yeah.
the girl. Yeah.
I think it's this dude.
Oh,
That
okay.
guy that was
he
sitting
was
there.
the owner.
boss. Yeah, he
Yeah, he's
fired
like the
him.
boss.
I think
He
that's-
fired Bud, and
Because if
said
that's,
never
if
come
that's
back.
him, he was in Predator 2, Naked Gun 33 and a third, the final insult. He played a priest, and he was also in Roadhouse. He looked like he would be in Roadhouse.
Wait,
Roadhouse.
which Roadhouse?
the first one.
the original, but the new one's good. I liked it.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Yeah.
It was whatever.
I never
Jake,
saw either
Jake
one.
Gyllenhaal was shirtless for half the movie. Why would you complain? I like that. And
That's for
He
Dana.
reminded
That's
me of,
Dana's
like-
boy. Dana likes Jake Gyllenhaal.
he was shirtless for half the movie.
Yeah.
He reminded me of like Reacher on the Spectrum.
I've never seen anything. I didn't see Tom Cruise Reacher. I didn't see the
The first Tom Cruise Reacher movie was good. The Reacher TV series is good.
It is, but I have a problem with that guy's acting. I have a problem with the way he walks. And they show a lot of him
hurt
walking.
by making fun of the way people walk.
First of all, he walks like he has a giant stick up his ass. But they feature the way he walks the whole time. Like, they make a big deal out of him walking. It's a big part of it. So they show him walking for extended periods of time. And he's like a robot when he walks. Like, he's just not good at acting when he walks. I don't know.
That is a
I
skill.
feel like when normal people walk, they don't have that face, and they don't stand like this. Like, he's so rigid. And if they just took out all the walking scenes, it'd be fine.
This is the new Reacher, the non-Tom Cruise Reacher.
With Alan.
I don't know.
something.
Don't even.
The
I don't
episodes-
know anything
Yeah.
about it.
Alan Richardson. Oh, I just saw the other thing that I just saw him in was the League of Ungentlemanly Warfare.
Oh, the Henry Cavill thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. How would you
It's
like
pretty
that?
good.
Yeah.
Our
Typical Guy
our
Ritchie.
resident Raider gave that a high score. I know.
Yeah.
Connor.
You
Oh,
like
really?
that one?
It was
like a
kind of
77, 80, something like that, in
Okay.
that range.
it was kind of Tarantino light.
Yeah.
We're still doing Tarantino 30 years after Pulp Fiction. Everybody's still trying to capture
Well,
that magic.
this is Inglourious Bastards light.
Oh, okay.
Del Zamora playing Lagarto. That was the
man.
guy who wore the.
Oh, so he was one of
Oh,
the.
he's wearing a hairnet? Is
He
that
was
what
one
that
of the
was?
Rodriguez
He was
brothers.
the Rodriguez brothers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know him from anything?
I've
No.
seen him before, but I can't tell you where.
No, I don't know him.
How about True Blood? He was Don Bartolo, 4 of 81 episodes.
Yeah, I don't
That's
remember.
probably it.
Never saw that show.
Born in East LA.
The
Oh.
Cheech, the
Cheech
Cheech movie?
Marin movie, yeah.
I remember the song.
I saw the video. Yeah.
And I got, he played Kaplan in Robocop.
Oh, okay. We'll get to that soon.
And Repo Man is his other.
Big claim to fame.
Yeah.
Repo Man was pretty big. That's
If
good.
Repo Man's in your top 4.
RoboCop's pretty big.
Yeah.
I'd be happy to have that in my top 4.
What, Repo Man?
Yeah.
I can't wait for the scores of this movie. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. I got one written down, by the way. I have it in
Helen
text.
Martin, she played Mrs. Parks. That was the
have her
older
written down.
African American
Sure.
lady
Yep.
that was sitting there and her sons all came
Pearl
home.
from 227?
227.
Yes.
Yes.
She was also
Yes.
the gun-toting, weed-smoking grandma and Don't Be a Menace
Yes,
to the Boys
I
in the
had
Hood.
that here. I had
She was also a clown in Shakes the Clown.
Yes.
She was also in. Did you know she was in the original Death Wish?
I did
Probably.
not
Yeah,
know.
she was in that.
It's been a long time since I've seen the
She,
original.
her
Death
other
Wish,
top
but-
4 was Bullworth.
Plus, don't they use her face to make gorilla cookies on Sanford and Son?
Helen Martin. When I saw her, I was
I
great.
didn't know her real name, but I instantly was like, oh, that's Pearl.
Her
Just stick her
role
in the
in Don't Be a
window.
Menace is so awesome, man. Oh, she's stoned all the time. She's like, fuck you, motherfucker.
They got Jimmy Buffett
What?
was
Not
in this
that
movie as an
Jimmy Buffett.
additional blonde agent. Yes,
I did not see Jimmy Buffett.
Jimmy
in this
Buffett
movie.
as an additional blonde agent. He was in this movie.
Oh, the
singer-
the agents driving around in the cars?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
You sure you just mean some guy named Jimmy Buffet?
I looked it up. It was the Jimmy
It's really
Buffett.
him? Okay.
Yeah, linked it to him.
Wow.
He died in 2023, 76,
All right.
from Merkel cell skin cancer.
Wow.
Do you want to try?
Sitting out in the sun all that time.
Do you want to
Yeah.
try his top 4?
Was he ever in something acting before?
Yes.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah,
that.
he starred in a couple of he wrote a couple of books.
It was in like
Where was
Wasting
that?
Away in Margaritaville. Is that like the name of the book or something?
Sure.
like that?
No, it was
He was a running park visitor in Jurassic
He
World.
was in Jurassic World. He got killed by one of the
The newer one?
pterodactyl
Is it the
things,
guy
yeah.
who was carrying 2 margaritas the whole time and never dropped them?
right outside of the
Outside-
Jimmy Buffett's
Yeah, he was running.
Margaritaville?
Yeah.
Running. Yep.
There
And
was-
He
okay.
was uncredited.
Okay.
He was in Contact.
Oh.
Contact. Oh, Jodie Foster.
Yeah.
And then you got The
Alright.
Firm, and then also Fast Times. But I believe that was the soundtrack for Fast Times.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
I don't remember him being in Contact. I've seen that movie a couple times, but
Angelique Pettyjohn was Repo wife number 2.
okay.
Repo
Was that where those women were fighting over?
She was in the
Buzz, I
original.
guess?
She was in the original Star Trek. She died young in '92. She was only 48.
That's young.
Cervical cancer.
Well, at least I won't die of that. That's one thing I will not die of.
Nope.
That would suck. What do you got, Andy? Cervical cancer. Right? I don't even know how that happened.
Up next, playing a nightclub band member,
The Circle Jerks.
Keith Morris from the
The
Circle
whole
Jerks.
band was on there.
Greg
Right?
Yeah, there was
Edson
the band that
and
played-
Chuck Biscuits and Rodney Bingenheimer from K-Rock. Then you had Michael Nesmith played an uncredited rabbi.
Really?
Yes.
Well, he
Where
was
was
the
the
Did you
rabbi?
see
He's also
his,
the
did you see his
executive
name in the
producer.
credits? His
No.
name is the first name in the
He's
credits.
the executive producer.
Before
Comes
the
right on
movie
the
even
Oh,
started.
I must have not been looking.
Yep.
Wow.
I think it says Repo Man. Michael Nesmith.
It does.
And then
It's like
goes
executive
into-
producer
like,
Michael
oh,
Nesmith,
like,
yeah.
It's like
That
right there.
opening was very long.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
struck me as a movie that he would definitely have put his money into.
Yeah, right.
That 200 Motels.
No, the Zappa movie. That's all I have for the cast, kids.
That's it?
Yeah.
Do you have anybody else?
Who else did you have that you
Oh,
wanted to talk
thanks.
about? All right.
I think I would have picked about 3 people.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see if I have anybody that we don't know.
The
Mil-
the kid that played Kevin the Nerd,
Yes,
Oh,
his
yeah.
buddy at the store when they got fired.
that was Xander Slosh, and after this, he joined the Circle Jerks. He
Oh.
joined the band, and he's been playing with Keith Morris ever since.
Wow.
Ever since
Well,
this
yeah,
movie? Wow.
Yeah, he's been playing with him in this band and another band called Off, and then he's got a couple other bands that he's been in.
I
too.
didn't realize. So at first, I didn't think those two were friends, and then next thing you
And
know,
then
they
they're
were.
at his house, trashes
Oh,
his house
yeah.
for a party.
Because he
and
throws
stuff.
him into the.
Yeah, I thought they were like
Yeah.
Into the
couldn't stand
food.
because he kind of looked nerdy a little bit.
The
so I
generic
thought,
food.
yeah.
I was gonna bring
Generic
the food,
everything.
yeah.
Do you
Everything
remember?
was
But
generic.
do you remember when like Acme used to have that one
Sure.
aisle that was just all generic
And it was
food?
Yeah.
white labels with a
Yes.
black, like just like
Yeah.
tuna or something
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that.
It used to just be in one aisle though. They had
Yeah.
like, every food was all down that one
Everywhere
aisle.
they went, even in the liquor store. Well, there was liquor up there, but then something was beer.
Yep.
And then something said drink.
Do you know what was on the movie marquee when they were driving down the street early?
I do not
I didn't
know.
see that
Yeah,
now.
Staying Alive, John Travolta.
Oh,
Staying Alive.
wow.
Yeah.
But it was funny
It was
because
the it was the Orpheum Theater.
okay.
Oh.
When he goes to the repo place the first time, the guy's like, the boss guy says, "You want a beer?" And he throws him a beer.
Beer.
I'm like, wait, wasn't that the same label as the grocery store where they were working?
Yeah.
And sure enough, I rewound. There was, and then
How
later
about
on,
they
when
dump
he's
that
talk-
beer out?
When
Yeah.
he dumped it out. When he's talking to his parents, he's eating a thing of food, and it says meat flavor. Meat flavor.
He said he loved it.
Oh my
He was
Yeah.
really
god, that was
enjoying it.
great! I loved all that shitty labeling
That made me
stuff.
just think, just nostalgia of going to Acme and going down that aisle, getting like tissues and
I
just
worked
being
at
like,
Acme in my high school years, and
So
I
did
remember
I.
those generic cans and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Yeah, it was great.
But the guy, their boss at the store, it just reminded me of Dwight from The Office. He had this wearing the same outfit, the yellow tie, the yellow button-up shirt with the brown tie.
I wonder
and
if
the
they like
glasses.
modeled Dwight after that
Looks
boss.
just
That'd be
like
great.
him.
That'd be great if that's what we found out. That the earring that he has at the beginning in that grocery store with the big
Mm-hmm. The long
giant
dangly.
thing. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's such a bad look, especially
Yeah.
for a guy with a crew cut. I'm like, you have
Yeah.
the big dangling. I'm like, don't be doing that. No, because he has the stud the rest of the movie. I was like, why are you doing that here? But it was I laughed as soon as I saw. Look, that stupid earring hanging off his ear. But
he didn't, to me, fit in as well with the people he was partying with.
Right.
They
He
seem
didn't
much
look
more
like
punk.
he didn't seem to fit in that world.
Harry Dean Stanton wanted to do a baseball type signal to Emilio Estevez in a scene where he had to show him where to park a car, but the director Alex Cox, a notorious sports hater, refused the suggestion. According to Alex Cox on the DVD commentary, Stanton lost his temper. I've worked with the greatest directors of all time, Francis Ford Coppola, Monty Hellman. You know why they're great? Because they let me do whatever the fuck I wanted.
That is
I
awesome.
love Harry Dean Stanton.
But also, like, how weird is that the guy would be like, "Don't do your own hand signal," because
I know, right?
caught steal, go steal
Yeah.
or whatever the signal is.
Just because it was a sports thing, he hated it. So. But yeah, I am Team Harry Dean Stanton. Last man Stanton.
So Emilio Estevez has on his all the time. He has that little smiley face pin. He has it
So
on
does
his
a couple other
and the
people
girl has it on her watch. She has the smiley face watch, but that pin goes with him wherever he changes. When they knock the security guards out in the elevator.
Oh, when they change outfits, yep.
uniforms, all of a sudden he's got that on his lapel and stuff like that. I was like,
When he's in the hospital dressed as the doctor.
right, yeah, that one, yeah. It's just like so crazy that he took the time to take that pin off people and just I gotta keep moving this pin around. I'm not sure what that pin indicates. When I think of that pin, I think of Forrest Gump, and then it makes me angry because I hate Forrest Gump so much that I was like, why is Emilio Estevez wearing the Forrest Gump pin? And then I remember this movie came out like 10 years before Forrest Gump, but I don't know, maybe Forrest Gump was trying to make some kind of statement about Repo Man.
I can say that in the 80s, I did have a lot of things with that smiley face on it. It was like huge in the 80s.
Yeah,
like,
but Forrest Gump takes place in the 60s.
Yeah, well, maybe it came out, but I remember in the 80s, like, you would get a T-shirt with that on it. We had a mug with that on it. Like, it was popular at some point in the 80s.
And now
stickers and
now you send a text with a smiley face after and stuff like that. Do you know how much cigarettes cost at that Korean deli?
Yes,
I do too.
Do you really?
I was like, Jason's going to ask this question.
I have that written down so you can
Is $1.79?
$1.10.
$1.10. Oh, 79 was how much whatever the hell was in that jar next to the cigarettes.
Oh,
There was a giant jar of something that looked really disgusting.
Yeah.
And it was 79 cents.
I didn't know what was in it, so I didn't want to guess.
Yeah. I don't know if it was something pickled, but they were...
Pickle eggs or something like that?
Yeah. I don't know. It looked nasty.
What I had here, for the first couple of days of filming, Harry Dean Stanton refused to learn his lines. He said that Warren Oates read his dialogue in two-lane blacktop off of note cards stuck to the dashboard, so he should be able to do the same. Alex Cox overcame this obstacle by informing him that refusing to learn lines was in breach of the SAG contract.
Yeah, you know what?
Stanton memorized everything perfectly after that.
Like, he's having a problem with everything. I'd be like, you know what, dude, we can get anybody to play this
movie
role.
was made for about 18 cents.
Right, I get that. And
So
you get any guy off the street to play this role. So why is Harry Dean Stanton flexing
Harry
his
Dean
muscles
Stanton
for this
was a
shitty
name.
movie? Was he? I mean, was he a name? He was like a B.
Dude, he was
lister.
Look at the movie you watched. That movie was made for about 18 cents.
Emilio Estevez was on the rise here. This was like
but
his
he
first
was still
starring
nobody.
role. Well,
He had The Outsiders, and that was it.
yeah, but he was he was soda pop, man.
I understand, but what I'm saying is, it wasn't like Harry Dean Stanton. Harry Dean Stanton was a get for them.
I guess he was. I have a big diatribe I want to go on. Jason, is it time for me to do that?
First,
I also want to talk about the lines of coke they were doing out in the open, just like he's like, you ever do speed?
No. It was speed.
It was cocaine, man. They were doing lines of
speed.
It was awesome, man. It was coke. I've never seen a movie.
He was talking speed. They were doing speed.
Yeah, they did talk about speed. But I was surprised. I was like, I didn't know that's because I don't know anything about drugs.
Back in 1984.
But I didn't know,
high speed rails.
I was like, isn't that coke? I don't know how you do speed. I didn't know.
You can do it anyway.
Speed
You
like
can put
that?
it in orange juice.
Yeah, but do people line it up and snort it?
They were doing cocaine.
Yeah.
That was his code name for speed. Did you ever do speed?
I'm not a drug connoisseur, so I don't know these things.
Though. I loved how they're doing it out in the open. Yeah. I was like,
it's the 80s.
1984, they weren't doing it out in the open. Even in movies like Wall Street and shit like that, they were like, let's go to the bathroom and come out with like powder on our nose. But they just did it out in the open in this movie. I was very proud. As soon as they took that out, I'm like, whoa. I was like, they're doing lines right now. I love it.
there was a reference to L. Ron Hubbard's Dianetics,
Yes,
right?
I saw
He
that.
said like diatretics or
Well,
something like
Diuretics.
they
that.
showed the book
Yeah.
cover. They showed the diuretics book cover.
It wasn't exactly the thing, but it was a let's not get sued by Scientology kind of cover of Dianetics. So I'm going to do it. At one point in this movie, they were down in the pits of Los Angeles when the Rodriguez brothers
Where the
first started
grease
chasing.
race
And I
goes,
said,
yeah.
I'm like,
They use
why?
that for everything.
And I said, why are these guys in Thunder Road? I
Yeah.
was like, why is Thunder Road such a big thing? Because I was like,
It's in
I've seen this-
everything,
and
all the
Dana,
time.
Dana, I
Yeah.
was like, why is this a
I
thing? And
know.
what is this thing?
It's a
And I-
reservoir, right?
It is
It's
not
like an
a
overflow.
reservoir.
the LA River.
It is the LA River. At one point, the LA River used to flood over and would, ruin everything around it. So
Yeah.
they finally decided to build, and this is like 100 years ago, they finally decided to build this gigantic thing to contain the river. It only floods for 3 months a year. So for
Okay.
9 months a year, it is a dried up
And they
piece of
film
concrete.
movies in it,
And
yeah.
they have filmed.
I was gonna
I'm
say,
not
you
going
got
to do them
a bunch
all.
here,
I'm not
yeah.
going to do them all, but
Grease most famously, I would imagine.
They did Blue Thunder, which we did.
We've done that,
They
yeah.
did Earthquake. They did Fear the Walking Dead, which I remember
Yes,
when we
I
watched
remember
that.
that,
shitty
yes.
season,
Yes.
like they were in this.
That was the
I
season
saw,
opener,
yeah,
yeah.
it was, yep.
Now I'm having a hard
Series
time
opener,
reading.
yeah.
Obviously, Grease and Harley Davidson, The Marlboro Man, It's Alive, Last Action Hero with Arnold Schwarzenegger, Terminator 2 with Arnold Schwarzenegger, Point Break. That's the scene
With
where
not Arnold
he's
Schwarzenegger.
chasing him in the thing, and that's when his knee goes out and
Oh,
he shoots the
yeah,
gun
yeah.
up in the
Okay,
air.
yes, yes.
That is the scene where he does that. The Dark Knight Rises, which I don't remember it being filmed in. That took place a lot in Chicago for Gotham. The Italian Job, where they drive their cars
their Mini
out
Coopers.
into the Mini Coopers.
Yeah.
Into the,
Oh, yes, I remember that.
To Live and Die in L.A.
Damn.
The Transformers, which I mean, maybe
That
who the
list
fuck
is
knows.
insane.
Why don't you just shorten this by saying any movie that was in
I was
LA
just-
that had a
Yeah.
car
It's just
chase?
so
I know.
amazing when I saw this. Here's the one that I was like, All's Quiet on the Western Front. That takes place in like Germany in World War One. So like, I'm not quite sure why this was part of the list. But then also the
Trench or something,
Beverly
maybe.
Hillbillies, Knight Rider, Terminator, Sarah Connor Chronicles,
Oh, these are all TV shows.
The
Yeah.
TV shows.
Beverly Hillbillies
American-
movie or the TV
It just says
series?
TV shows. American Horror Story, Apocalypse, and Chips.
Hell yeah, I know what episode it
There are
was.
there are so many things.
Is that the one where Ponch and John chase the guy in the car?
That's awesome.
I
That's not
just
in the car
watched
in this
something,
one,
and
yeah.
Eric, I said, is that Eric Estrada?
Oh, I
Eric
left out.
Estrada from
From
Chips?
Chips?
I
And I
left
said
out-
that to Tara. It was 2 nights ago. What was I watching that he was in?
I left
Maybe
out
it was
one
a
movie that
preview?
was filmed in this. The Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai Across the Eighth Dimension.
Oh, is that when
That's
they're
scene
walking
where
in the
walking
scene that
in the
one made me
credits.
wanna
That
watch
is
it?
in the LA River
Yes.
Reservoir,
Oh my God.
whatever that thing is, the LA River. That was Buckaroo Banzai.
See, that's why I got so captivated
You're
by
like,
that
oh my God, that's
preview.
Thunder Road.
Yes.
Let's go Thunder Road. It should always be called Thunder Road. It's nothing else but.
Do you know what song Otto was singing when he was on the train tracks?
I sure the hell do.
Do you know what
I
song
don't
Otto was
remember.
singing?
When he
I
was
know
on
where
the
I saw
It was Black Flag, and it was TV Party.
That's right.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a TV party tonight. All right.
This
And,
was
he
a
starts,
very.
and he's like, Saturday Night Live.
It just starts rattling off shows.
That's incredible.
I feel this
What
is
if
the
he
kind
said different strokes? That would have been great.
That would have been
Better
great.
TV shows.
that would have been great.
I would have loved
Especially
that,
if it was the
Yeah, the special episode?
The
Yeah.
very special episode. Of the
Ah, I
episode.
can wear my T-shirt.
By the way, Eric
Nobody
Estrada,
else has a Mr. Wharton T-shirt.
Let's see what you're about to say. Save it
Do you
for
know what I'm
Sunday.
going to say?
I know what you
Okay.
got
All
mugs.
right,
As soon
I'll
as
save
you
it for
said
Sunday.
Eric Estrada sticker on
Yeah,
it the
okay,
other
okay,
day,
okay.
it was like, they win.
Shit, I had
Real
something
quick,
to
I
say.
saw when I was at Chiller, I saw some guy. He had a Porky's patch. Eat at Porky's.
That's all I want. You should have that next to your go to Traumaville school or whatever. You have the sticker there, but
So the scene where he first goes, and I guess he's making out with his girlfriend, and she's like, "Go get me a beer," and then he comes. How long did it take him to get that beer? By the time he gets back, she's already fully making out with someone else.
yeah.
I felt this movie had a lot of cut scenes in it because there were a lot of
Yeah.
scenes where when they were beating up Emilio Estevez when he was trying to take the car when it had the jack on it was
Yeah.
already jacked up and it just kind of cut. And then even with Harry Dean Stanton at one point they cut away from a scene where I was like, are we not going to see the end of the scene? It just
The
all of a sudden
whole
it's the
movie
next
was
day
like
or
that.
something.
Yeah. That
There was
beating
no
he took,
cohesive plot.
he would have been in the hospital
Yeah,
with
he had
that
a-
beating
he had a
took.
bruise on the
He had
side
a
of
bruise
his
here.
face.
They took like a crowbar to his stomach or something. I don't know how he survived that.
This was ranked number 7 on Entertainment Weekly's top 50 cult films of all time.
I'd like to see that list. Now, I'm not saying this
I would
should be
too.
on there. I'd like I'd like to see that list.
Yeah.
That's a good list to
That would be fun to watch
See,
those
yeah,
movies,
yeah.
yeah.
Google that. I'll Google that.
Do we need to do another podcast, or we just do the world's like biggest cult movies?
We have to start a separate podcast that no one will listen to. That
I'll
would
do
be
it.
great.
Yeah.
So when the punk guys opened the trunk, when that guy, who I'm not quite sure, that plot point was never really explained to me.
Was the bald guy his friend in the beginning who he was like, you just got out
they're
of
all
juvie?
in this. They're all in the same.
But
gang
he
at
wasn't the
beginning.
one who was making out with his girlfriend
No,
in the
that
bed?
was that was Duke
Okay.
or whatever. But
Okay.
so the first scene in the movie where the guy gets pulled over by the Nevada or New Mexico
Yeah.
police or whatever, and he's like, "Don't open the trunk." I mean, he
Yeah.
warned him, "Don't open the trunk," but he opened it up. So that guy, he ends up dying on the bench. He's the one with
Yes.
sunglasses.
Yes,
Like,
yeah.
what's his point? He's just a human.
He's just driving the car around.
And what's there's no explanation to what's
I didn't
actually in
understand.
the
Did
trunk.
we even
or-
go over him in the
explanation.
cast?
No, but like
Anything in
They
this
might
whole
have, I'm not-
movie.
Oh, yeah. I don't think we talked about him in the
I don't
cast.
think
that?
so either.
The guy who was driving the car.
Yeah, I don't know who
We
that guy
didn't-
is. Yeah,
yeah.
I don't think he was one of the names that Jason, like the guy that was the security guard, Fletcher.
Might have been one
at
of the guys
place,
that
like,
skipped
I
over.
couldn't figure out who that
I
guy
skipped
was.
over the motorcycle cop
Oh,
because
okay.
he only had a top
Dead.
1.
He was his boots were in the movie longer than he was. When
Yeah.
they drove away and they showed his boots.
It's just so funny. I guess in 1984, you could just force someone to give you the keys to their trunk as a police officer. Because that could never happen today.
Also, where are they getting the keys for
All the cars are
when they're
stealing?
actually repoing
I
the
guess
cars?
the
Yeah,
people
but
who
They
hire them.
They did break into a couple of
they
them.
Yeah.
did,
Yeah.
but it was never Harry Dean Stanton. It was Light. It was the
Right.
other guy. He was
Yeah.
what they always used to Slim Jim.
I mean, I
but-
would imagine that the companies who need this repo keep a set of the keys until it's paid off.
Is that what it is?
And
They
then they
send these
hire
guys
you and
the
they give you the keys or something.
But how are they sending them to? They're sending them to you. They're sending them to the Rosario brothers.
The Rodriguez brothers,
Sorry,
yeah.
the Rosario brothers are Godfather too. They're sending them to the Rodriguez brothers.
Yeah.
Like they're not sending keys to every repo in L.A.
Maybe just
It's-
whoever accepts the offer. I don't know.
Or maybe it's like a skeleton key for cars. I don't even know.
Oh, maybe.
Because they do hotwire. Harry Dean Stanton does hotwire that one car at one point. So,
And so does Emilio when he takes bubble. He hot wires it with
Yeah.
his gum wrapper. Which, first of all, couldn't you have done that and had it ready before you got in the car and
is
now
that
you're
where he
getting
got
shot at? Yeah.
That's when the dude just shot into the house. I
Into
was
his-
like, oh my
yeah.
God, he's murdering those people. It was just blanks. That was great. It's like blanks work just as well.
Yeah.
That was actually a really
That was a
good-
nice car
yeah.
too. What was that? Do you know what kind of car that
please
was?
Don't look at me for car questions.
Do you know what kind of
please.
car that was? It was
Nah,
really nice.
No, I know there was a 64 Malibu was the one that glows,
Yeah.
but I don't know what that was.
I feel like, yeah.
And if they hadn't said that 500 times in the movie, I would,
yeah.
I would have been
No.
Nova. I'm like, I
I
don't know. I don't know cars. Sorry.
I feel like it was a Mustang or something. I don't know.
I just want to know who had the job of hand painting that car with a brush, because you could see the brush strokes from the glow in the
When it
dark.
became glow in the dark.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
$600 to do that.
$600 in paint.
That's a steal.
Because they didn't have the special effects. They didn't do any special effects for that.
So it was glow in the dark paint, I guess.
Yeah,
It
And
sounds
then-
like a lot of
okay.
paint, though.
That's all
$600 of paint in 1984. That sounds like a lot of.
Yeah.
That's a big cost. Their budget was $1,000, and $600 of it was paint.
Lee Ving was considered for the role of Bud.
Oh my God! And there was a Fear song in this.
Yeah,
Like,
when they
I
were
remember
right
that.
outside the
I should've-
liquor store.
I listened because you guys have been talking about it so much lately. I listened to that album, which
Let's
was
Have a War, right? That song?
the green one. It's
Oh, you're
green.
listening to the Green album. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have Another Beer with Fear? Or
Oh, the one where they just talk about "I want a beer" over and over again. I want a beer.
More beer, I think, is-
More
yeah,
beer.
yeah, yeah.
Just like, I mean, I loved the music. I loved like the actual music itself, the lyrics.
Oh, yeah.
Because
they're-
I was watching the
they're very
lyrics as I was
misogynistic,
listening. That too, but also like, did a caveman write these lyrics? Sometimes I was like, a caveman wrote these
Probably.
lyrics. Yeah, but
You
I
ever
really
see Lee
enjoyed
Ving?
them.
He's awesome.
I loved the sound.
I met him.
I really did.
I saw the pictures.
Yeah.
Very
We
nice.
haven't
awesome,
evolved
dude.
much since the
He actually-
caveman eras
actually
with
sang
with
our
them.
way to communicate. Sorry.
No,
Really?
especially it was like
Yeah,
more
I said,
beer
let's have
for
a
the
war. He went, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm not even kidding. He did that, and I was like, that was one of the most amazing things ever.
I was in a screaming contest with Gunnar Hansen.
That's pretty cool.
Nice.
I didn't win, so I didn't get to have dinner with him, but I got an autographed Texas Chainsaw Massacre poster from it.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Do you still have the poster?
Of course not. Because I was in high school.
Didn't Dan have a story the other day about the poster that he had signed by
Yes.
somebody, and he
was
said
one-
that.
What
What
was
the-
that?
I don't know. You were on Splash Podcast. He was talking about something he got when he was
One
a
of the
young kid.
writers.
I
I
used
can't
to
remember.
collect
No,
movie
he's related
posters.
to one of the
I had a
writers.
movie
That's
poster
right.
signed by Robert Englund, Heather Langenkamp, and Wes
Nice.
Craven.
Nice. The first Nightmare.
all
Or the
three of
New
them?
Nightmare?
Actually, it was New Nightmare,
New
but
Nightmare.
I don't care.
Yeah, all
Sure,
three of
yeah,
them on
all
the same
three,
thing.
yeah.
That's pretty damn cool.
I
Yeah.
had Hellraiser signed by Clive Barker.
Posters.
No Doug
Yeah.
Bradley.
No,
That's why I
wasn't
decided
there.
to start getting books signed, because they're much easier to like store and collect and just put on a
Yeah.
shelf. And
Yeah.
They're
Well,
much
my
easier to keep
Shatner
in
figure
good
was pretty
condition.
cool to get signed.
What did you get to Shatner? What?
I got Shatner signed. I had a Twilight Zone figure because he's in two episodes,
Yeah.
but it's just one figure, but it had the two different outfits and
Oh,
things
nice.
for each. So I had him sign that.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's really cool.
when the car alarm went off when he was trying to steal that one car, I was like, I didn't even know they had car alarms in 1984. I was really shocked
Yeah.
when the alarm went off. I'm like, that was a thing? I don't remember that becoming a big thing until like the later part of the 80s,
Yeah.
but maybe in LA they were a big thing. They didn't make it to New Jersey.
I thought they just had the club.
Because I had a friend of mine in high school, and that was like his big
Yeah, but
annual
where was
New
high
Year's
school for
leave.
you, man?
Hamilton.
But when? Years?
80s.
Yeah, later
I-
80s. So I'm older than you.
86.
That's later than
But-
this.
Yeah, every year he had a fucking car with a car alarm, and he'd push it around the block
Oh my God, that's
with the car
annoying.
alarm going off on New Year's Eve.
Yikes! I don't like that.
Yeah.
So when the punks take the car from the guy, and he's like, "You gotta open the trunk. You gotta open the trunk." And Duke goes to open the trunk and burns his hand, and he still proceeds to try to open the trunk. That would have been your first warning, but he didn't open it all the way. He opened it
Yeah.
like 3/4.
He
I'm like,
still should've got-
why does that not affect
Yeah.
those two?
Yeah.
You have to open it all the way for the
Yeah.
radiation
See
to
it.
melt
Has
you.
to get to your
immediately.
eyes.
You have to make eye contact. I think,
contact.
yeah.
Is it
I
like
mean,
the Ark of the Covenant?
Yeah,
If it- as
and
long
I'm
as you
really
don't-
annoyed. We never got to see what was in there.
Ah,
Like
that's okay.
it
You
was.
didn't see
Are we assuming
Pulp
it was an
Fiction, you don't see it.
I
alien?
was just gonna say, you don't see
Yeah,
the briefcase
that
of
was
Pulp
a good
Fiction.
movie. This movie existed. So, what was? It was assumed that it was an alien.
Wait till they hear
right?
the IMDb scores.
Wait till they see my score. Like I'm so excited.
You want to know what the IMDb scores are? for
Yeah.
this movie?
We'll get to
No,
it.
their scores. The IMDb scores, not ours.
We'll get there.
Yeah. Tell me. Save it for the
We'll
end.
get there.
I'll tell
7
you.
out of 10.
We're gonna forget because we never
You're
say
right,
it.
because then we'll debate about it and then we'll forget about it.
Yeah.
All right, go.
The audience gives it a 78.
Okay.
The critics give it a 98.
Wow.
Wait, which critics?
How
though?
many critics voted on this movie?
Roger Ebert was one of them. There was about 40
I was
plus.
Just
I
about
know
to say,
Roger
there's no
Ebert
way
gave it like a
Roger Ebert
Wow.
liked this movie.
I think
Roger
he gave it
Ebert
like a-
loved this
Was
movie.
this Rotten
Gave it
Tomatoes
3
or
out of 4.
IMDb?
Rotten Tomatoes.
Rotten Tomatoes. I didn't know if you were where your score was coming from, Rotten Tomatoes. But okay, well, you know what? Sometimes the
IMDb
critics
gets
are
it
wrong.
gets a 6.9 from IMDb.
Hey, that's
Okay.
fine. Sometimes Roger Ebert's wrong.
Yeah.
I accept that.
Yeah, because you're always right.
Yep.
I'll tell you this much. I'm glad I did not watch this movie with Michelle, because sometimes my score is influenced by her. And
Yeah.
if I heard her like huffing and puffing during this, which she 100% would have been doing, she, as soon as I turned the movie on, and I'm surprised she saw Emilio Estevez and she was like, nope. She went upstairs. I'm like, okay. I'm glad I get to watch by myself.
Tara mostly always watches with me.
Yeah.
She will rarely be like, I'm not watching this. Almost never. She might get up in the middle and say, don't hit pause. That's her way of saying this movie's
Yeah.
awful. But she'll come back.
Michelle won't experiment
Yeah.
with a Repo Man movie. Like if it was Splash or Ghostbusters or something like
Yeah.
that, she'll be like, "Oh, I know I like this movie, so I'll
in.
watch
Yeah.
it." But like a movie that she may have seen, when she was 13, and
Yeah.
now probably in some rape dungeon in Hightstown where she
Yeah.
was. But like now she's like, "No, I'm not doing that again." She's like, "This brings back bad memories."
Yeah.
I admit, I had seen this movie before, and I didn't like it the first time I saw
Oh,
it
man,
either.
see,
I've never seen it before. I actually got
And-
this confused. I thought we were watching when we first said it. I thought this was
I love
Maximum
one.
Overdrive until you guys told me no,
Oh,
that's a
right.
different
The
movie.
Stephen King movie, Maximum
Yeah.
Overdrive.
I don't know why. And then But there was another
That's
movie
a
I
bad
said.
movie.
That is a bad movie.
Yeah.
That was like his first directing
Yeah.
his own
And then
stuff.
I thought it was
the
when he
only
said it
thing he
wasn't
ever
that. I was like,
directed.
Is it the
oh,
only
it must
thing?
be
Okay.
Men
That's
at
why
Work.
only.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about Men at Work.
Yeah.
You talked about that.
With
Men at Work was
Charlie
cool.
Sheen.
Yeah, that's a great movie.
That's Charlie Sheen, and I loved that movie. That's what I thought this was, and I was like, oh, and then I
Probably
was
liked
sadly
it because Charlie Sheen was in it. See, you didn't like this one because only Emilio Estevez was
There are
in
a
it.
few things
Oh,
sacred
is that
in a
what it
man's
is?
life. One of them is his fries. You learn that lesson, you will live a much longer life.
We were talking about the difference between Keith David and David Keith
Yep.
today. Like,
I
you-
love Keith David so much.
You'd much rather have Keith David in your
Yeah.
movie.
Who was David Keith?
He's the
just
old
another
white guy
actor.
from Hardcastle and McCormick.
Yeah.
Oh,
He has the best line in Armageddon, in a movie with great lines, but I just don't want to say it right now.
All right, let's see if
It's got the hard R in it.
if you
I'll
guys
just let
can
it go. But
if you guys can guess the body count for this movie. How many people were murdered, killed in this movie?
in this one,
Yeah.
I don't remember.
well,
Five?
if you consider the cop at the beginning,
5 for Dana. What do you got?
like I'm just trying to do the math. So the guy that lights on fire when he touches it in the hazmat suit, and then the punk, and
That's right. There's those guys. I'm gonna stick with 5.
I'm gonna say 7.
7, 5.
I'm gonna stick with 7 too.
Oh,
You should have went right in the middle with 6.
Oh.
Yeah, right there. You're right there. Yep.
damn. Okay.
That's
There was
all my
one
notes.
less guy in that grocery store, convenience store.
Well, does Harry Dean Stanton die at the end because he gets disemboweled with that gun, and he's just kind of like, "Hold it, man. You're good. You're good."
I don't know.
Like,
I think he's pretty much done.
I know, but they don't actually show him.
No, it's
dead.
kind of
Don't
left
show 'em
open. Yeah.
And that
we
was-
don't see a final.
If I had a problem with this movie, and I'm not saying I have a problem with this movie, if I have a problem with this movie, it was that Emilio Estevez kind of gets in that car way too easily. Just drops Harry, and
I
he's just
know.
like, I'm getting in the car with this guy. The car that set everybody else on fire.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna get in this car
Because
and
he went like
fly
this.
away. Yeah, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
when Miller beckons you, Miller and Bud.
Get off me?
I heard "Get off me" too. What's going on up there?
Maybe she's yelling at one of the dogs.
Yeah, she's definitely. I hope she's yelling one of the dogs. If not, I gotta
If not, we're like down here and something really bad's happening.
Yeah.
I give this movie. When
Can you keep it down up there?
Was everybody's named after a beer in this? Bud,
Yes,
and
there
Miller,
was.
and
I did read that.
As I was saying the names out loud, I'm like, wait a minute, Bud and Miller.
Yes,
Was somebody named Coors? Oh, Light. Light was the black dude. Jesus Christ,
Oh.
everybody was named after a beer in this.
Otto.
Otto.
Otto was the
beer.
only one who wasn't named after beer.
What is happening
I
upstairs?
don't know, but I really have to.
I was trying to wrap it up,
It's
but
my
people
third
keep going
bottle of
on.
water today.
I was trying to wrap it up. We want to get to some scores now.
Yeah, I've never wanted to get to scores more.
Why don't you kick us off then, David?
Okay, I thought this movie was a turd.
Ah, okay, that's fine. You go.
What do you got for Tara?
A 35.
All right.
But now I'm second guessing my score because I looked up my score for Buckaroo Banzai, which was another movie I did not like. I gave that a 45. I think this movie was better. I mean, I think Buckaroo Banzai was better than Repo Man.
Really?
I gave Repo Man a 50.
I guess we didn't watch the same movie.
I thought it was really silly and boring, especially towards the end. I found it really boring. So I didn't care for it that much. Sorry. But I wish I could change it now to a 35.
Too
You
late.
can change anything you want.
It's
too late. I wrote 50 now.
Jason
Too late.
wrote it down in
And what
the
did
pen.
Tara give it? Tara gave it 35?
35.
Oh, Tara
Yeah.
gave it 35. I'll give it a positive review because I know Mike's going to fucking hammer this thing. My two favorite quotes in this thing that I didn't get to were, you beat a lot of acid back in the hippie days. That's what Emilio Estevez said to Miller when they were burning something there and he was talking about nonsense. And then he says, you'll be all right. Maybe not when he gets shot in the face at the convenience store there. I love this movie. I would watch it again tonight if you want to. I'm kind of
I'll watch
disappointed
it
there's
again.
not a sequel to this that I could watch, but I give it an 80. I really enjoyed this movie. Yeah, I liked it a lot. I probably have fond memories of as a kid watching it, but I was really excited, and I'm excited to watch Remo Williams too because for the first 10 minutes of this movie, I was like, I don't know what the fuck I'm watching here. I'm like, oh yeah,
I don't know. I never heard of Remo Williams.
Yeah, that's
You've
Fred
never heard of
Ward.
Remo Williams?
Yeah.
Oh,
that was
a
another
good
80s
movie.
movie. That's next year. We'll get
I'm
to
going to
that.
go
Okay.
next. I love this movie. I love the soundtrack. Iggy Pop, Black Flag, Suicidal Tendencies, Circle Jerks, Fear. Come on.
Great
This movie was
soundtrack,
awesome.
no doubt.
Love the movie. I would watch it again with you tonight if you wanted to, Eddie. I gave this movie an 86.
Wow, nice.
Right.
Okay, this movie had no likable characters. I didn't give a shit about anybody. It had no plot at all. And I give it a 23.
Damn.
Wow, man. This movie is all over the place with the scores. I love it. I love it.
There was
I'm
just
so
no
happy about that.
cohesive plot. There
Yeah.
was not
That's
one
okay.
person that I liked in it.
It was a punk movie, man. Punk movies.
Yeah,
cohesive plots.
Yeah.
He's not a punker, you know. He likes Arrested Development.
Hey,
Hey,
I like
so
Arrested
what?
Development.
The band.
Oh, no.
Oh,
like
I don't
that.
know the band.
I like the show. For
I
sure.
don't like them. I saw
Wait,
them
isn't
in
that a
concert.
rap
They
band?
happened to be on a bill with like 40
They sang
other
Tennessee?
bands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. They're not terrible.
I saw
like
them
that
at Lollapalooza just because they were there. I was going to
Yeah,
walk
That's
away.
when he went to the
Exactly.
bathroom.
I went and got a beer. I'm
That's
sure.
before I knew you, but I'm just saying.
I'm sure I went and got
What
a
are we
beer.
doing next?
Revenge of the Nerds,
Yeah,
right?
Nerds this weekend. Yes. I am
I
super
love
excited to
that
do
movie.
Nerds.
So we got Nerds followed by The Terminator.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then after that, we're doing You Get to Pick.
Oh, okay. I'll
Do you
have to
wanna
look at the
tell
list.
us
You got till,
now or
you
no?
got till
No, I gotta
next
think about
Friday
it.
to pick.
Okay.
And
You did the new list, but
I will
thought
send it
some
out
were
on
missing.
Monday. Well, I took all the Halloween movies and put them to the side.
But I didn't see. Oh, and things that were already picked by other people.
Yes.
Because I didn't see Red Dawn on there.
Because I think Doug wants to do Red
that.
Dawn. And
Okay.
he'll be playing cards next week.
Okay, so you'll
lock him
knock
down
that-
on
okay.
We got
Monday.
Gremlins and Silent Night, Deadly Night
In
are
the
both for Christmas.
Okay.
Christmas
Yeah.
time.
All right. I would like if Doug can come on soon and he can come in that for the next time. I'll pick that movie.
We'll talk to him on Saturday
Okay.
and see what he says.
All right, yeah.
He's probably going to be a weekend, so you'll probably
Yeah.
be able to pick something for during the week.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'll look at the list.
I'm free whenever.
Do you want to do
Okay.
any of them that we just mentioned, or?
Michael come back for he did this one, so you know.
Yeah.
do I-
I said, is there any-
He hated
I knew
this.
I wasn't going to like this
Did
movie
he want-
before I sat down and
He hated
rewatched
this
it.
and came wants to
That's
come
what I'm
back.
saying. Do you want to pick one that you think you're going to like, or?
I'll
We'll send
let
to the
you know.
list.
Yeah.
I have the list.
Yeah. So download, rate, subscribe, review, do all those fun things. We're the exciting and new podcast on all our socials. I'm the Jazoo on Instagram, Jazoo74 on X/Twitter. This has been the exciting and new podcast. I'm Jason. I loved Repo Man.
Agonzo1 on Twitter, Agonzo1970 on Instagram. I loved Repo Man too. I was gonna say fucking Remo Williams again.
Dana Caps on TikTok, DanaCap77 on Instagram. I thought we were watching Maximum Overdrive. I'm Dana.
And I'm Mike. And I loved Remo Williams.
And you knew what you were getting into and you still came on. I love it. Thank you.